Hello everybody, welcome to Naturally Kim's Knitting. I'm Kim and this is my podcast where I try to talk about knitting and spinning if I'm doing any at the moment, and just life in general. Today's May 26th, the day after Memorial Day here in the States. Sorry, my hair is just whoop today. Yeah, today's May 26th, the day after Memorial Day here in the States, which the weather is pretty much the same as it always is. As you can tell above my head, it's cloudy outside, but that's okay. It's been raining an awful lot lately, and I'll turn the phone around and let you see our garden. I don't know if you can see the little track lines out there, but Randy got out there with some of our seeds. I think he planted some green beans and some other things, but the only way he could do it was to take boards out and step on the boards, because if you try to step in the mud, you sink, because it has been rototilled and everything. He still has some more planting to do, but he's been working so hard. I think all of our tomatoes are planted, and peppers, I think, I'm not sure. Sunflowers, which we had a lot of volunteers, we always do, and he replanted those along with lettuce that just came up volunteer. He's going to replant those. I keep telling him, you don't have to replant them, just eat them out of the pot they're in, but he wants to replant them. Oh, if I were inside, I would show you. I got a surprise present the other day from my very handsome son and his beautiful, lovely wife, Rachel. And I opened up the door the other day and there was a box there saying plants. Now, we did receive plants, but not from this place. We had to replace our two pecan trees. And so we got those last week, I think, someday. Anyways, so I opened up the door and there's a box there, and I'm thinking, what? And I knew it was a place that Ian and Rachel order from for their own gardening things. So when Randy got home, I thought, well, maybe he opened something, don't know. So I opened it up. They got me a persimmon tree. Now, I don't know if it was for Mother's Day, if it was just because or what. But when I go out to California, like when I go out this time, the persimmons might be ripe. I don't know. I'm thinking they're going to be too early. But I'm going to miss my pomegranate. So I do have a pomegranate tree inside. But it's not, I don't want it to produce yet. So I was very surprised to get a persimmon. So one of these days when I shoot inside again, I'll show you my fruit plants that are on the inside. Then outside, we've got, I know everything out in the orchard this year has some fruit on it. Now, our pear tree didn't even bloom this year. Our peach tree, we don't want it to bloom because it's just a baby. But this is going to be a good year for almonds because we had a beautifully blooming almond tree. Now, I'm not just going to talk about plants today, because I did think about this and I brought my knitting out with me. And Puppy's wondering, well, Mom, why aren't you going in the yard? Because it's very hard for me to go up and down steps. Oh, I've got my sun tea out here ready to go. Oh, I should show you some of my herbs that I have. Now, I'm thinking that's stevia. So I don't think, I had said something to him about, if you want to, you can get me sage. But I wanted stevia, and I'm pretty sure this is stevia. I could taste it and see. Yep, that's stevia. Very sweet. Then he got me lots of petunias. I need to come out and deadhead. There's some parsley he got me. Because I didn't go out to the greenhouse this year because I had been fighting migraines and all that stuff. So there's some more petunias. I did ask him to get me pansies, but he couldn't remember both. So there's my basil. Yep, I got lots and lots of petunias. Oops. Oh, there we go. So this year for Christmas, Ronald has wanted chickens, but we've not really ever got him any, so we got him these little wrought iron chickens that we put in these window boxes. He could sit in his chair and he could just admire them. Yeah, we decided this year to put petunias in all the window boxes. Looks like we're gonna, oh, don't know. There's my rosemary, which I love rosemary. And there's lavender. It's a different lavender than I've ever had before. He got me 2 of those. Then here's my Greek oregano and a purple basil. I had others that I wanted him to get me, but that's okay. Oh, and then I can show you through the slats. Look, isn't that rose beautiful? It just started blooming yesterday. And that one is a beautiful red rose. I don't know if anything else is blooming yet or not. Almost. Almost. My coral bells, which I know I showed those to you last time. But I love this one. It got put over here accidentally once. It looks like we have aphids. Anyways, and every year I kind of pray that it's going to bloom again. And look, here it is. Now my beautiful rose that we got, I think it was 2 years ago, it didn't make it. I have some along the end of the garage too, but I'll show those to you another time. Anyways, on to what I have been knitting. It doesn't look like I've done as much as I wanted to. This is Genevieve's Afghan. This is where I left it the last time. And I was able to get that many rows done. I'm going to be working on it today. I don't know if I've told you, every other day I knit a different project. So like this is this one today. I did these yesterday and I'll do them tomorrow. Just got started on the heel on that one. These are my super secret surprise socks. And there's my soup kitchen socks, which I just got started on the cuffs. So yay! Yay! And there's my puppy. Gonna look up here, say hi? He's not understanding why it is we're not going inside, Mom. And you might hear our dogs next door. Anytime we talk or he hears they hear the doggies' tags jingle, they start barking. Journey and Ringo. Yesterday, I guess they got out and got into our yard. Randy was planting, and he didn't even know they were out until somebody came over and got him. I said, well, if we'd have known, we could have had little Casper come out. Except it's funny, he likes playing with one of them, but the other one he's a little afraid of. So, which is just as well, because the one is quite a bit bigger than him. And they've never really hit it off. Now, Ringo and him have played, and they love playing rough. And they do a good job, but, you know. Anyway, so last time, I talked a little bit more about my courting days with Randy. And I was trying to think. Let's see, I can't remember where I left off. I should have looked at it first. I know we went to the prom. Did we? I don't know if I told you that part. Anyways, Randy had called me and asked me to his prom, which was really the first date that we had, just us. So our first date was prom, which was the day after his birthday. So I always kid him about, you've made memorizing when our first date was very easy. But, inviting me to prom the day after your birthday. So anyways, because until then, I didn't know when his birthday was. I don't know that he knew when mine was either. So anyways, my sister and my brother-in-law drove me to my sister's friend, Eva, to her house. And we were going to stay there and then go home the next day. they were going to stay there. I knew I was going to be staying at Randy's house because, it was going to be a late night. Didn't want Randy driving to a strange place that late at night. So anyways, we get into Eva's house, and Randy knew the way, and I had my dress and everything, and I was all ready to go, and I tell you, I've told him I believe in love at first sight, because it was almost like I hadn't ever seen him before. I'd looked at him before, but I was a little young to really know what love was. But I knew he had special meaning to me. But I see him walk across the yard, and he comes in. I think he knocked at the door. He might have just come in. And my heart started pounding, and I said, I'm going to marry him. So anyway, so that night, we get back to his place, change our clothes. We go to the prom, but he had hurt his ankle or his knee. He used to do some running, and so he couldn't dance much, but he wanted to dance one dance with me. So I said, okay, great. So we danced one dance, and then they had a theater area, and we went in there and watched like old movies like Beach Blanket Bingo and all those. So it was kind of cool, and went back to his home and, went to sleep, and then he took me back to Eva's the next day, and I really didn't want to leave, but because I didn't know when I'd see him again. But he was better about the letter writing after that. He wrote me a little bit more often, and would tell me about what he's been doing, and because he was still in 4-H, and I was trying to think. I think it was the next year. Okay, yes, because that summer, let's see, the winter before prom, I'd gotten appendicitis, which was so funny because I blamed my sister because she had cooked supper, and it was after that I really started feeling a little queasy. So, and I never expected that she'd poison me or anything, really, but it's fun to say later, not then, because there was also a big old snowstorm, and so our doctor, who happened to be German Baptist, but they let him drive a snowmobile and wear the bright orange clothes, and he actually came to the house, and he said, well, she's got appendicitis, we got to get her to the hospital now. Well, this was with a big snowstorm, remember? And my mom wasn't going to drive. My dad was at work. There was no way to really get word to him. So my mom called my Uncle Bob, who happened to have a truck, or had access to a truck. And he drove me, sorry, just a beautiful butterfly. He drove us to the hospital and got questioned, of course. And they took me back right away, and they said, when they saw me later, they said, we got there just in time. If it had been any longer, it would have, burst. So I was very glad about that. But then that next summer, I got mono. Now, my mom had just had a hysterectomy, and I was working at the bank, and I know there was this one little boy who always came in and got drinks from the drinking fountain, and that's the only place for us to get drinks at too. Well, I remember hearing that, oh, well, he ended up with mono. Didn't think about getting it from the drinking fountain or anything, but I did, because I got it really bad. My mom had just had surgery, so, she wasn't going to be up to going back and forth to the hospital. So, we got a hospital bed, yeah, I believe, and put it in the dining room, and where I could see the TV in the other room, and I could, see Mom and all this. And Mom had to be very careful about serving food or anything around me because they didn't want her to get an infection. So anyway, I spent quite a bit of time like that with a very high fever. It actually got up to 104 once, because I remember thinking, that's scary. Plus, I don't remember anything from that time. It was during that time that Randy had come all the way down from northern Indiana to come see me. And, you know, I don't really remember him coming to see me. Like I said, I think he gave me a stuffed frog. I know he gave me a stuffed frog because I had that until one of our moves. Something happened to it. Anyways, yeah, so luckily he came down another time and asked me if I remember his visit before. I said, "You visited before?" I said, "No, you're kidding me, right?" And nope. So he saw me through some of the tough times. He was with Molly. My sister Kelly happened to be there, and so of course he had to tease her because, you know, he had to tease every girl he sees. Still does. So there was Molly, and my mom was there, who he was very nice to her. He always was. My mom just loved him to pieces. So, yeah. So anyways, that was us through the summer after prom. And then eventually I got better and I was able to go back to work and we could talk on the phone. I wasn't allowed to talk on the phone either in case I got germs or I spread germs. So, so finally we were allowed to talk on the phone and all that. So anyways, that's the next part of our courtship. I guess next will be what happened after I had mono. If I remember where I left off. Anyways, I hope you guys all have a great week, and I hope that all your craftiness is successful and you don't make any mistakes. But if you do, I hope they're little ones and they're easy to fix. Love you all. Big, big hugs. Take care. God bless. Bye-bye.